Hey, Rube, check this out real quick.
What's up?
Check this out, man. It's the remix.
Um, our house was always filled with music. My mom comes from a really musical family. Her and all her siblings all play instruments. All her sisters, they all play piano, and they all taught piano. And my grandfather, he taught piano and he tuned pianos for different churches and locals back in Samoa back in the day. Let me see. So growing up, we always were exposed to music. My mom, made me and my brothers sing, taught us how to sing as kids. I don't know how I got stuck singing the high parts when the younger guys had higher voices than I did back then, but it stuck. So, I think I got to like the third grade. My grandfather wanted me to learn an instrument because by that point, me and my brothers all quit playing piano because every time we hit a wrong note, you got smacked on your hand. So I was like, so even in third grade, you know what? I don't like this. I don't like this. So we quit. Well, I quit, and then they quit because I quit. So
and your mom was okay with that?
I don't think she was, but I think when all of us just refused to, we'd rather get beat up than play. So she's just okay. Never mind. I just got bored with all the lesson books because there's like simple songs. So I think if she would have gave me something that kind of challenged me more, I would have probably stuck with it. Because there's like three blind mice, I was like, so I think I was progressing faster than she was teaching, and I got bored. So I'd memorized the song because I know it's a real simple song. So she turned the page, and I'm still playing, and she goes, "You're not even reading the notes. It's boring. It's too simple. It's just a few notes. I already know it." But her way of teaching and our way of learning didn't mesh too well. So
Gotcha.
I went to. Then in school, they brought all these instruments into our classroom. And I was like, wow, what are all these things? I saw the saxophone. Really liked it. Wow. But then I saw there's a bunch of different things to press. Like, oh, that looks hard. I saw the trumpet. It was a smaller instrument, and it only had 3 keys on it. I was like, that's the one I want. It's the simple. Little did I know that was one of the hardest to play. The saxophone was easier to play because all the different notes there's different things you press to get to them. Whereas with the trumpet, you had to either blow harder or blow lighter into the thing to get the different notes and tones.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, joke was on me with that one, but I played it. We had to take recorded little flute-looking things called a recorder. We had to learn first before they gave us the instruments. And my grandfather bought my trumpet. So, and I played that up until I was a missionary. So from the 3rd grade all the way up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So got to high school, saw my melody friends like playing piano and in choir and jazz band. Like, man, why didn't my mom teach me that stuff? I like that stuff. So kind of started to gravitate towards like the gospel music and the R&B music that they were playing because I liked what it sounded like.
Who was the R&B, or who was the artist at that time that everybody was playing?
Back then, it would have been the Commodores. Like everybody I knew learned how to. That's my first song I learned how to play on the piano was "Easy" by the Commodores. So
Nice,
I think
nice.
everybody else learned how to play that too. So that would have been my first attempt at learning how to play something by ear on the piano.
So were you in band elementary, junior high school, and high school?
Elementary, I was in band. Got to junior high. They didn't. I didn't like the band in junior high, but that was also the time when our ward started our marching band, where your grandfather was a very good saxophone player.
Kind-hearted. Loving Man, yes.
Yes. I think Buddha's dad was a tuba player. Yeah.
Shout out to Buddha.
Yeah. So his dad was a tuba player. My brother played tenor sax, but you remember Rob back then? He was like small, skinny guy. And then he
had a tenor, not an alto.
No,
yeah,
not
the tenor,
alto.
the bigger. Yeah.
Oh, his better. He ended up playing the baritone sax, the big one. So he used to have to stand on the chair to play the thing because it was so big.
Why did he play that? He chose that one, or that's just the one that they told him?
He just wanted to be the big dog.
Big dog. If he can't be big, the instrument.
Except for when he had to carry it back and forth to school. So he was like, "Oh, Al, can you take my instrument?" And he'd take my trumpet was like the case was maybe this big, and his case was humongous, and so he's like, "It's too heavy." I'm like, "Oh, why did you pick it then?" And Gilbert played a clarinet, which was really small. Once you break it up.
I didn't know any guys. Okay, I knew one or two that played clarinet. Most of the guys I knew played brass, either drums or brass.
Why he chose clarinet? I don't know.
Not gonna clarinet. Might as well just give him a piccolo. Hey, shout out to Gil. Mr. Clarinet. All right, man.
I don't know if anybody wanted that out there like that, but yeah, cat's out the bag now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so that's kind of like my memories as a kid of growing up and being exposed to music, and then all my mom's siblings. My Uncle Roger, he exposed us to funk and R&B. So he was bringing over like the Bar Kings or Parliament Funkadelic, and my dad absolutely hated all this music. So he bring all this stuff, and we're playing like like Earth, Wind and Fire, like all the old school stuff. So as kids, we were like listening to this stuff, and my dad was like, "Wala, listen, man, who fuck in on? We're not living in Samoa." And then what
do you want us to play instead?
Yeah, and then my aunt, my mom's younger sister, Lissa, she got us into the Shy Lights and like all the harmonic stuff, all the kind of doo-wop sounding, or like the 70s groups like that. Who was there? There's the Shy Lights, there's the Manhattans, So all those groups that had like 4 or 5 guys singing. So she got us into those groups, and then my Uncle Roger got us into the funk.
Oh, that's so cool. That's different worlds. That's a lot of influences. Yeah. That's a lot of good influences. Like it's varied.
Yeah,
that's cool. So, like, were you looking up to people that played similar instruments out when you're doing that, or you just like listening to groups that
kind of just getting my feet wet, and having like the music that the people expose us to. You're kind of listening to it. Okay, I like this, or okay, I don't really like that. But
kind of picking and choosing things you like about certain artists.
Yeah, you're starting to kind of build your own sort of repertoire of music that you like or listen to, or your eclectic list of music.
So I would say if I knew you in high school, who would be on your cassette, your mixtape? Who would be on your mixtape?
Actually, it would have been albums. Cassettes didn't come in until like I was like a senior or a junior.
So on your album list, So on your milk cart case,
my milk crate case of records.
What's your top 10?
It would have been let me see. Growing up back then, it would have been anything Earth, Wind and Fire, anything Stevie Wonder. Yeah. And then I had Parliament Funkadelic. Yeah.
Oh, that's heavy. That's a lot of R&B, a lot of funk.
But it's like almost a whole different style of funk. It kind of.
Yeah. All right. So that's who else do you have on your list?
And then as I got older, Then I started to listen to the Barcades, Cameo. When I went through my bass playing phase, I started listening to some of those guys.
So tell me about your bass. How did you pick up the bass, or what made you want to go from piano? So that's the keys, and then you go to brass, and then dabbled back in keys. But what made you pick up the guitar, bass guitar?
Again, because funk, like when the late '70s coming into the '80s, it was funk, but then funk started to change when it got to the early '80s. But I still loved like Larry Graham. He was like one of the first funk bass players that was playing. So I was like, okay. But I was listening to like the Brothers Johnson, listening to Cameo. There's a bunch of different bass players that I like.
Who had access to a bass guitar?
One of my early friends in school.
Okay.
He had a bass, and so I'd like sit there and watch him. Oh, can I try? So I tried to mimic what he was doing. He was like slapping and popping the strings. Okay, let me try that. So I played. He goes, "You play?" Well, no. He goes, "But you're playing is I'm following what you do." So we kind of. It's a good thing. Me and my brothers are musically inclined because we were able to pick up, pretty easy on instruments or singing. Or
was it easier for you to, like relate? If you're playing bass guitar, you can relate to, you know what I mean? Translate your playing to okay, but on guitar it's going to be like this as opposed to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're going from flats to now you're going to sharps. For guitar, because they're interchangeable. How did you figure that out in your brain? Like, okay, so they don't talk about flats.
I don't know, because I didn't understand, except for when I was playing the trumpet, flats and sharps and naturals and all that. I didn't understand because I played by ear. So all I knew is I liked what it sounded like, and I tried to mimic it.
I gotcha.
I didn't get hung up on flats or sharps or even like music theory because I didn't understand any of it. I was just playing what I heard and what sounded good to me.
Okay. And so the marching band, you played trumpet in the marching band?
Yeah. So that's where I get, that like part of music theory and the structure of music. I learned that through marching band and playing the trumpet.
Gotcha. Oh, I remember you telling me. Can you read music now or?
Yeah, I can read music. It's just, I can't play the piano music because, the trumpet music is one note at a time. So Whereas the piano, it's like 8, 10 notes all at once. So
the one for the bass side, the one for the, I got you, man.
I'd have to sit there for a while and pick each single note out. Whereas, if I took piano lessons and stayed with it, I'd be able to play it. But
gotcha. Was it your band leader about taking you to different locals?
Oh yeah. So in high school, my band teacher, he would come and ask my parents, can I take him? Because every time he wanted me to go, you have to ask my mom and dad. So I'm not just going to just take off somewhere and then my dad finds out. I don't like getting beat up. So he would come and ask my parents. And then, my dad would probably give him a hard time about taking me, and then he'd eventually give in, so I'd go with him. So he would go and he played organ and piano for like different Baptist churches or gospel churches around the area. So he always had me go with him so I could play bass, which is one of the other reasons why I started playing bass. Because he'd just say, okay, play this note or this, because he'd tell me the notes, or he'd just point to where the fret was and just play this note, and I could hear it, so I could kind of, okay, that's the note he wants. But definitely eye-opening. Yeah, I wasn't used to being in that kind of thing. I was used to being in a former church. Everything is kind of quiet and it's
laid back. And
I get to my first Baptist church, people yelling, screaming. I'm like, what's going on here? Dancing? Is this a nightclub or is this?
Yeah, man. But those. Go ahead.
That's kind of where I started to appreciate gospel music. I like watching those guys. Like, hey, our church doesn't have this. I like this. So,
what songs were you guys usually playing?
I can't remember. I feel like old gospel songs back then. Don't really remember the names of some of the songs. If I heard them, I'd probably know, but I don't remember the names of them.
Were those paid gigs?
It might have been from my band teacher, but he just bought me something.
Just watching food.
Just bought me something to eat. Okay.
Man, I got straight sneeze.
Yeah, thinking about it now, I was like, hey, wait a minute. Those locals paid this guy.
Yeah, I think he paid you with experience.
I got paid in food and experience. Yeah.
Yes. That is the stuff that's priceless now. Who knows what happened to the money? But the experience.
But the knowledge I gained from it, definitely. It was a blessing.
Oh, that's cool. So would you consider that your first music experience, Al? Apart from church stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, different church stuff, but I mean, just a different type of environment.
I would say that would have been my first musical experience as far as like playing out. Because being in the marching band, or like our ward had a marching band, so I was used to being around people that I knew, like older folks and people that all played. But as far as like going out and playing for people that I totally didn't know, or with other people that I didn't know, that would have to be one of my first musical experiences outside of my family and church.
Gotcha. So, Al, what do you consider was your first gig?
I don't know what my first gig would be.
I would probably have to say first paid gig. That way you can say like, okay, because the music experiences, you've been playing for quite a while. So I guess playing with your mom's side family, to going to the marching band for the church, to playing gigs like with local.
Okay.
But I would say a first paid gig.
I think our first paid gig would have been me and my brothers, me, Robert, and Gilbert.
Ooh.
Because through high school, Robert started to play the drums, Gilbert was playing guitar, and I was playing bass.
Oh, okay.
So we gave.
What was the name? You guys have a name, just Robertson Brothers, or what you guys do?
I guess it would have been just the Robertsons, but there's a Seventh-day Adventist kids that went to Linwood High School, and there are some of them. They were pretty good because they sing in church, and some of them were pretty good. So I remember there was this one girl. I don't know if there was. I can't remember what the event was. I think it was a wedding for one of those families, and they asked us to play. So Tui Iono was our manager.
Shout out to Tui.
Tui's our manager. He remembers this gig. He went with us, and he's the one that did all the talking because we were so painfully shy. We didn't know who but this guy, he was all,
Gift to gab.
He had the gift of the gab, so he could talk to the people. And they're all older Samoan folks, so he knew how to talk to them. So he was our manager, and he took us, and we played. I think we played some a Sade song, Cool Operator. Smooth Operator. Sorry,
Smooth Operator. I like Cool Operator, like my Great Bliss sound.
The Great Bliss Seeds, yeah.
Cool Operator. It was.
So we played that. I think we played.
Who sang?
All of us. Ooh. Mostly, yeah. Robert was the drummer / singer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then we did all of our 5-star and Punya Lava songs, all the old school songs.
Old review. Yeah.
We went through all those. We added some newer stuff in there.
So you said Asufiku. Was that the Asufiku one in Compton?
Yeah.
Oh, Santa Fe?
Yeah, but they had the wedding reception was someplace in Linwood. I can't remember. There was like a restaurant.
It
could have been. It was a restaurant. I don't know exactly where it was, but I remember it's out in Linwood, and we played there. And I think we're playing. One of the amps went out. It went out. Well, actually, our PA went out because we plugged everything into the PA. We didn't have like a separate guitar amp, a separate bass amp. We ran everything into the
overloaded it.
Yeah, overloaded. And we were sitting like the thing was only halfway in. Like the gig was like there's still a couple hours left. We're like, Snap. So my brother Gilbert, he goes, I think I know how to fix it. Like, how? So he pulls out the fuse. He takes his he had like a, you remember like the Wrigley's gum had like the foil gum wrappers?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he took that and he used that in place of the fuse. And he stuck it back in and we were able to finish the show.
What the hell? How the hell did he think that?
I have no idea where he got that from or how he figured it out.
I was watching MacGyver at the time and saw something.
He just took this wrapper. I was like, what is this guy's gonna blow up whatever we have left? He's gonna shut down the whole building. But he used that. I don't know where he got it from, but he took that foil wrapper, he just twisted it all up, stuck it where the fuse was, and it was able to connect the circuit so the thing would power on.
It just conducted uses
the electricity. Yeah.
Oh, crazy guy. That's
being older now, I kind of understand the logic behind the theory behind it. But
at the time,
yeah, he would have been like
him of anybody.
He would have been like the 8th grade, 7th grade.
Hey man, your man stayed up during that time in science.
Yeah, so how he got that? He still laughs about that to this day.
Oh, that's cool. So that would definitely be our first gig.
But that would have been our first paid gig. I don't even remember how much we got paid. Maybe it would have been like $20, $50. But
I'm sure your manager probably remembers that. He probably got paid
he probably got paid the most. He probably just broke us out. Yeah. Lo mismo Kala.
Yeah, lo mismo Kala. Yeah. That's cool. So, I would assume that would be just like moonlighting here and there. You got a chance, to play. At what point do you think that you got your aha moment? Like, I can do this. I can actually do something like where I can be like one of these guys. Maybe not recording, but actually being able to make money by playing like solid gigs.
Solid gigs. I would say my aha moment would have been me and Gilbert. I got off my mission. We started up playing again, and then we ended up combining with the Toy Alfai. Put both of our groups together. So me, Robert, and Gilbert ended up joining Tinae and Flex and Dan, and kind of becoming a super group.
Super group, yes. Nifoloa Robertson.
Yeah.
It was.
So it was Dan on guitar, Gilbert on keys, because me and Gilbert went and bought we got a Roland D50. So it was our first synth. So we got that. I played bass, Robert played drums, and Flex played the other keys, and kind of sang. So him and Robert would sing like most of the leads.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What was the name of the band at that time?
I don't know if we had. No, we didn't have a name, so we just kind of went with those guys.
It was. What year do you think that was?
Oh man, Gilbert would have been before his mission, so it would have been around like the late 80s. Like I got back in 87. I think Gilbert left in 89, so it would have been around 87. Oh no, 88, going into 89. And my aha moment was when he left, and we just paid for this brand new synthesizer, and it was just going to sit there. And so I took it upon myself to stop playing bass and started playing the keys. And then Donna Samoan, her sisters, their dad had a group, he had his band. Nephi was playing drums.
Nephi was playing drums?
I'm sorry, Nephi was playing bass. Bengi Ilawama was playing the drums.
Oh, that's right. Bishop.
Bishop Ilawama. He was playing drums. Nephi played bass. Vicky, she sang. And then, so they asked me to play keys. So I did. And that's what my aha moment was, because they're like, I think either Nephi or Bengi said, "Oh, can you play September?" I'm like,
do you remember?
Yeah. So I listened to it and I heard like the horns were the things that stuck out most to me. So I played the horn parts for it. I don't know if it was actually that good, but that's what I played. So
And
But that's when my whole aha moment was when my brother went on his mission, stopped playing with the Twilight Fires, and then actually took the keyboard, started playing at home, and actually trying to join a different band or have somebody ask me to play. And I started playing. You know what? These are the first people outside of my brothers that I was ever playing with on my own, and I haven't stopped playing since. To musical influences, I think my main musical influences, as far as like not artists but teachers, would have been my grandfather, who kind of always pushed us into music, and with anything that I remember we were in high school, and me and Robert and Gilbert wanted to DJ. So my grandfather bought us our turntables, our mixer, and he got us all set up. And
yeah, that's so cool.
We started DJing in the ward in different parties and stuff. But my grandfather definitely was one of those influences. Also, my dad's brother-in-law is my uncle, Bobby. He's married to my auntie, and he was a music teacher. So he helped teach us stuff about music too. So he would be one of my other influences. My other influence would have been my patriarch, Olsen Almu. He went and talked to my dad because he liked how me and my brothers could play the instruments, the horns, like the instruments that we learned at how to play and we're playing for the ward marching band. He liked how we caught on. So he asked my dad if he could possibly have us come to his house. So we would, every week, maybe once or twice a week, we would go to his house while we're playing in the marching band, and he would write out music for us, or he'd take old swing music or like big band music, and he'd kind of write out parts for us, and we would play it.
But, to enhance the whatever you guys are playing.
No, he just liked that we were playing instruments, and he wanted to help us kind of grow more as musicians. So he would do this for us, and it's funny because to this day, I think Gilbert was telling me about him and his wife were out, and he heard some old big band song come on. He goes, oh, that's I forgot what song it was, but he said the name of the song, and his wife and kids looked at him like, you know that song? And he started singing it, and they're like, what? Yeah, if anybody knows my brother Gilbert, you probably like, there's no way that guy knows that, because he can be ghetto sometimes. But he's like coming up with lyrics and the melody to a song that's like from the 40s, and they were like floored that he would even know that. But it's from that patriarch who was who kind of took us under his wing and kind of helps us along. But in return, he would let us pick whatever type of songs that we liked, and then he'd try to learn. He'd reciprocate it. So he's trying to teach us, and in turn, he wanted us to be able to play whatever music we wanted, and he tried to learn it. He played guitar. He played saxophone in the marching band, but he also played guitar. So he would try to learn it. So there's this a 70-year-old man who was trying to learn how to play funk because we wanted to play that. And I'm sure this poor old man was probably like, I have no clue what these guys are doing. But he would patiently sit there with us, and he never showed us that he didn't like it or he was upset about it. He would learn the part to teach you or just to play with you? Just to play with us. He just I don't know if he just wanted to see what our process was as far as learning by ear, or because he was all notes. Like he had chord charts for his guitar. He'd sit there with his leg over the other leg, and he'd sit there and play. So he's a really good guitar player.
That's cool.
But he would be one of them. And then I think the fourth musical influence that I had as far as a teacher would have been the band leader for the marching band in the ward, and that would have been what's his name? Falfua Swatman. So he was a very mean old man. He'd be mad. Similar to this other old man that I know.
Not the gentle, loving.
I'll have to ask your mom about that if that's true.
A benevolent one, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But he was like in that same vein.
Mm.
But that man, I remember he got mad at us once. He got mad at me, and he stopped band practice. Everybody had to go home after that. But I thought for sure he was gonna hit me. But he respects my dad, so he didn't want to do anything. But he would always talk to my dad about he like really wants me and my brothers to keep coming to band practice to learn. So.
That's so cool for you to have a lot of your influences come from within the family, you know?
Yeah.
And then within the ward.
These are like old guys. They all these 4 people, like they wrote music, they taught music, they were choir directors in our ward. So they were really, they're all old school musicians from Samoa.
That's so nice that they continue to use their talents, you know? And then be able to give their wisdom to the younger generation, knowing that they can use it. And then look where you're at now, you know what I mean? Because of your foundation that you brought. That's so cool. That's so cool. So when you're playing, tell me, what's your lowest moment in music that you can think of? What made you feel like, man, I don't know, this is something I want to...
I think you would know about that one. It would have happened when I had just been married. Some things happened that I didn't like, and because of it, I kind of lost my whole just will to play, or maybe at that point or at that moment, I didn't have the love for music anymore, because it just left a sour taste in my mouth. Not the music, just the things that happened to cause it. So
I don't think it's ever the music, right? It's the people that...
No, it's the people that you're dealing with,
Yeah.
that were causing the drama, or just whatever the circumstance was that just caused me not to want to play no more. It caused me to just want to give up. But lucky for me, there's this young guy that I took under my wing right out of high school. He's the one that kind of talked me back into it. I know the one thing that I did not ever want to do as a keyboard player was play a Casio keyboard. But this same guy got me to come back and play, and the keyboard he got for me to play was a Casio with the speakers on top of the keyboard.
I'm sure that person had good intentions during that time, just to see how serious you were about returning back to music.
I must have been serious, because as much as I hated playing those kind of keyboards, I came back to play, and I came back and played that, and I've been playing ever since. So,
yeah, if I recall, I think that keyboard was actually missing the key too. It was
I was so traumatized and upset by the whole keyboard. Just the name on the keyboard.
Yes.
Yeah, I try to block it out of my memory for now.
I remember that keyboard didn't even have a case. It was brought over on the airport under someone's arm. Yeah, it was.
Well, you could see all the nicks and scratches on it.
Yes. Yes. That's
So that would have to be my lowest point. And I think that was my only lowest point as far as music is concerned.
I was going to ask, is there any other times that you remember, Al, that you were like, man, I don't know.
No.
I'm sure this is some...
That would have been my lowest point as a musician, as a person that played.
Gotcha.
But because of my influences and, I think my love for music, because it's just always been part of my life. And so to think about myself not being able to play or not playing at all, that I don't know what type of person I would be. I don't even know where I would be without that part of me.
Gotcha. Okay, so that I get that. So tell me about what is one of the highlights of playing music that you can clearly see, like, yeah, that's probably the best.
My highlights is being able to play with other musicians that I played with over the course of, about the past 40 years or so. just the musicians that I've been able to play with. You would know, but just the pool of musicians that we had to draw from to play when we were playing and gigging back, about 15, 20 odd years ago. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
those
And
musicians.
any of those musicians stick out to you? If it's a musician
Yeah,
that you feel like are the highlights that stick out to you, like wow, that's
well,
those
they
are
all stick
special.
out to me for different reasons.
Okay.
Like Dan. Dan was all around. He was good. He never shied away from me as far as being a guitar player. For somebody that never played island music or reggae music, he was able to come in and just he never complained about it. He just we sent him the songs. He learned the songs. He came out and we were performing, and it didn't sound like somebody that wasn't used to playing or didn't want to play that style of music or genre. Tupu, as far as guitar, I haven't heard another rhythm guitar player like that. That guy could play any rhythm, like funk rhythms, R&B rhythms, reggae rhythms, country rhythms, and even all the old school Salmon songs. He could play all the Alpaki and Malil songs, just like you're listening to the original person playing the song.
Yeah, he's got that ear, man. He's got that ear for that rhythm.
I know you would know about this guy too, Pete, bass player
Hey,
Pete. Yeah,
rest
yeah.
in peace, Pete.
Yes, sir. Twala. Yeah. Pete, Twala, and Eliko. Yeah, that man was a bad dude. So it's just and everybody like Kalani, just how effortless this guy was with the guitar. I mean, we were looking for a guitar solo for Call Me, and this guy just comes in and he goes, "Okay, well I have this." And I don't think he just one. He like flipped it all kind of ways. And like me and you were like, I have no idea what you just pick whichever one you like. They all sound good. I don't know, what to say. Oh no, this one sounds bad. I like this one better. We couldn't even pick, so we had him pick because we didn't even know what to pick. That guy,
Yeah.
as far as talent, that guy, he's one of the highlights of musicians that I've played with, and just all the other guys, like all the other guys that Dan was able to bring from his school to help fill in when we needed certain musicians, whether it be guitar player, bass player, drummers, all those guys were all really good.
Mm.
And then being able to play with other bands like that we got the chance to share the stage with, like the culture. When we were first starting out, they were kind of like the arch enemies when it was just me, Tupu, Dave Tufele, and Uti. It was just the four of us. We were trying to make a name for ourselves and play. These guys are playing, so we were kind of like, kind of side eyeing each other. But you know, over the years, we grew, to be friends and be comrades in music. So those guys are just like all the other people that we've gotten to play with, like Common Kings, but they weren't Common Kings back then. They were called Nafu Soul. Some of the other fun groups
Like
all those,
Volcanum,
yeah,
Kontiki, and
Kontiki,
One Foundation.
all those guys. So being able to play with them, even Joey's group back in the day, Joey Kendler's group, Cord Brown when he became part of that. So being able to play with all those people, yeah, it's been pretty cool. Yeah. I can't pick one over the other because they all stood out in their own ways.
Yeah, very unique. I love that they each had their own specific sound. If we heard them, like we could tell who it was.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, that's what's his name. Oh no, that's them. That's that sound that I recognize. That's cool. So as far as yourself, what do you think is the biggest goal that you've set out to accomplish?
I think before I was married, I think one of my biggest goals was to be able to produce my own album or a album. I was able to do that with my brother Robert when we did the Robertson's one, and I was able to produce different things for other people here and there. But I think the biggest goal was when me and you were able to pull off what we pulled off and record and produce our own album, from my bedroom in my parents' home. I think that would have been one of the biggest accomplishments. And hopefully in the future we can go past that or go further than that. But that would have been like the highlight of everything, kind of being able to do that. One, uh, I didn't know how to use a DAW. Two, you had never written a song before, so we already had the cards kind of stacked against us when we set out to do it.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. It was the biggest challenge up until then,
Yeah.
But I think how we talked about earlier, if you just tell your mind what to do, it finds a way. Like I'm not sure how to do it, but I know, like when they say, "Can Al DJ?" Yeah, he could. Of course, he can DJ. It never dawned on me how. I just thought, oh yeah, he could do it. He could do it.
I mean, I had faith that you could write the songs, just like you had faith I could DJ or I could do different things.
Or produce a song. Yeah, I don't think about how you can do it, but I just think, can he? Yeah, of course he can do it. Yeah, I don't have any, I've never had any doubts. Like, how he's going to do it, he'll probably figure this out. That's his department. But do I believe in him? Oh, yeah, I believe in him. I know he can do that. But that's just the confidence I know because of our experience. You know what I mean? Like, our experience here. There's nothing that guy can't do. It's just whether or not he wants to do it. Can he do it? Yeah, he can do it. If he finds a way, he'll do it. I don't think
if you feed him enough, he'll do it.
Yeah, like he just has to figure it out sometimes how, but he always figures a way how. So it's not a matter of how. It's just when he's gonna be able to do it. So
yeah, I just think it's just kind of like the mindset we've taken on. Being able to play together for this long.
What's if you met a young Albert Robertson, a younger version of you, and he's just getting the music. In your experience now, what would be the things you tell him to help him avoid pitfalls or help to boost him where he's at? If you met him and you're like, oh dang, you're a young me. I see a young version of me.
If I was to meet a younger version of myself, who was just starting out, or he was kind of already in the process of playing and trying to learn how to play, navigate that whole thing. One thing I would definitely tell him is like, dude, go back and learn how to play the piano the right way. Because that's kind of one of my bigger regrets is not being able to read sheet music, to play the piano music. Now, I can learn it by ear, but the cool thing with playing by ear is I can change it to however I want it because I'm playing.
Oh, I gotcha.
But to be able to like just have somebody put the music in front of me and being able to sit down, that's what I admire most about actual piano players. So sometimes I clown on myself. I'm not a real piano player. I can pretend, but I'm not an actual piano player.
Someone that can read sheet music.
Yeah,
right out of the blue and just put it down.
Yeah,
you're like,
put it down.
Okay, you're just kind of looking at the notes and you're not playing so much as you are just transcript. Transcript. Like, okay, I get you. But they would say the same thing about you. They'd be like, I won't be able to play anything unless they had a sheet of music in front of me. You know what I mean? Then I wouldn't know. But you can hear it and you can be like, and not only play it, but add your own twist.
Yeah, my own twist.
I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I hear that, but these are the chords that I would, I would add this little color to it, add that little clusters, these color notes to it.
So there was this old Palangi guy that was the piano player, the organist in 7th Ward when we were there a few years back, and he read music. He could read music, but he always. It's funny because the secretary or one of the concerts always would have to check him because he would always play the hymns, but he'd always add his own little solo things in there. So we'd be in church, he's playing the song, and I hear something there. I've never heard that in this song.
A little embellishment.
Yeah, embellishments. Just add little things here and there.
What is music? I mean, it's just your interpretation.
But see, that's what I liked about him because he read music, but he also played by ear, so he could always add his own little embellishments to the song.
And I would like that because you put your own stamp on it. Like maybe you're not supposed to, but like I'm blessed with the talent. I feel I'm prompted, inspired to have these extra chording. It's not in there, obviously, but
But
Yeah.
in my interpretation of it, it sounds a little bit better if I add this chord in here.
Yeah, they didn't know about these chords back then, but I'm gonna go ahead.
I get away with it all the time because I play by ear. So I was, no, I hear it this way.
Yeah, that's the cooking recipe. But like everyone else, it's just a guideline. You know, like you want to put your foot in it, you're gonna have to do these and add these extra things. Oh, that's funny. He's probably laughing too.
I think that's where I would go with, like in churches, so either use the spirit of the law or the letter of the law. I would go with the spirit of the law at that point because you can kind of do what works for you and what sounds best to you.
Yeah, very true, very true. So that actually sounds real close to what you would talk to other aspiring musicians as well.
Yeah, as far as that would be to learn the piano. I think the next thing I would ask or try to get them to do is surround themselves with good musicians, with better musicians. Always try to play with guys that are way better than you, because you can learn. You'll be able to gain a lot from their experience that they've had. So even like as a kid and playing with old guys that are like 70, we were still able to gain an appreciation for different types of music. Just being able to be around them and talk with them and playing with them.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. If you play with a small pool of people, you're all going to sound alike.
Yeah.
But if you surround yourself with people that's been around the block, been places, and then you'll see things or hear things that you wouldn't have heard anywhere else, you know?
I know, like some guys, like some guys that play keyboard, they're like, "Oh, man, how do you learn your chords?" I was like, "I'm self-taught. Like I didn't like some of the other keyboard players and piano players from other locals. They have other guys that kind of take them under and teach them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't have that because like all the people that played piano I knew, they played music, and they didn't play the type of songs I wanted to play. So there was no YouTube or internet back then. So it's like either I get the cassette or get the CD or the record and listen to it, and then try to mimic what I heard, or find somebody that knew how to play that and try to learn it from them.
And then even then, you're going to add your own feel. Like, I like these chordings. I like these chords better. For that one, I would choose this, which is cool because I love that individual style. It makes it so much nicer.
Well, it's just like a recipe. Everybody can use the same recipe.
Yeah,
but it's never going to come out quite the same. Because everybody, they cook a little bit differently. They just same thing with music.
I agree.
Because my nephews would say that to their dad, to Gilbert. Gilbert's sons would like, "Dad, how come you teach us how to play a song, and then you play it and we play it, and they could tell that it sounds different?" Because he would always add his own little spin on it. They probably didn't catch everything that he showed them, and then he was saying, "Okay, but how come Uncle Albert plays the same song and it still sounds different?" That's because we have two totally different feels. It's not going to sound the same. It'll sound pretty good and pretty close, but obviously he has his own way of playing it, and I have my own way of playing it.
That's the beauty of it. Everyone comes with their own style, so you can have one song played by 5 different guys. It'll sound like 5 different ways,
Well, look, we had Tupel, we had Kalani, and we had Dan, and all 3 of them are really good in their own vein. And every time we play with either one of those guys, they play it totally different, and it still sounded good. It's just they played it their way.
Yeah, we're not the cookie cutter type, which is cool, because we're not supposed. No one's supposed to be the cookie cutter type. If you want to hear this exactly like the CD, you might as well have a DJ. When you're playing the song exactly like CD. But for live music, it's supposed to be live, so you're gonna have live feels, live changes.
That's the
artistry comes in.
Like when we're learning the cover tune, I like going to the actual artist and finding their live versions of that song, because what they do live in concert is totally different from the record.
Yeah, and I think that should be like with anything. You should have your own interpretation, and then it may change night by night depending on how you feel or what your mood is. That's true. I agree with that. That's really cool. Yeah, man.
So that would be it, as far as like talking to a younger me or young aspiring musicians.
What of any word of cautions that you would would give.
You know, stay away from the dark side.
It's dark all over.
Yeah. Word of caution. I don't know. You know, just don't always listen to what how everybody else tries. Oh, you should play it like this, or you should do it this way. You still have to have your own personal creativity when you're playing something or learning something. So
I agree.
Listen to what everybody says, but don't always just And, I would always kind of you're blessed with the talent for a reason, and you should use it how you would normally use it. Because everybody else always try to tell you, like I remember my wife's uncle took me to a band practice, and then they were trying to play the Macarena, and the girl that was trying to, instead of just playing me the actual song, she was trying to sing to me the keyboard part, which wasn't even a keyboard part, it was a vocal part. So the part I wanted to hear so that I could play wasn't at all what she was singing. She was like singing, I was like, that's not helping me learn the part. Yeah, if she would have played the actual song so I could hear for myself with it, then I would have been able to play it. But
maybe she wanted you to play that part that she was singing.
Yeah, but
even though that wasn't the part for the keyboard.
The keyboard player would have to pick his part because if she played keyboard, unless she was playing a separate part and wanted me to play a different part, okay, I could understand it. But
gotcha.
She didn't play it. I had to play it. Normally, if I'm the only keyboard player, then I'm going to try to play a combination of things to try to cover, because there's more than one keyboard part in most songs nowadays. There's like 2 or 3 or 4 parts. So you try to have to kind of mesh it all together and do it the best you can, because I only had one keyboard. I didn't have 2 or 3. So I had to kind of make do with what I had.
Gotcha. Oh, that brings up a good question. How would you describe your style of playing?
All over the place. I don't know if it's a style. It's how I taught myself how to play, so I can't really describe it in any certain style. But
like if you
could
imagine, yeah. Would you consider yourself more of a flashier player or more of a meats and potatoes, or a combination of both?
Probably a combination of both. Because for the longest, when we had a second keyboard player, they were the ones that were kind of doing all the flashy stuff. So I always play the meat and potato stuff because I also had to sing. So it's easier for me to sing and do that. But then recently, when we did our gig this past few weeks ago, that was the first time I've ever had to do the other stuff and not the meat and potato stuff. And it was eye-opening because I wasn't used to it. I mean, I could do it, but if I haven't to perform, I've never had to perform and do it. I always had to play the more solid stuff where I'm holding the chords and playing like the electric piano, the piano parts, and not doing all the little synth parts that kind of help, give the song all the extra stuff. So,
did you find it easier to sing or harder to sing?
A little harder to sing and do it because I wasn't used to it. So, like if you're playing the piano, you're just playing you're following a certain rhythm. But with that, because they're like different riffs and stuff, and then having to sing, and if how the rhythm of the singing part is different from that part, for me it's a little like I have to focus a little bit more to try to get it. Not a spring chicken anymore, so a little bit harder.
What is one thing that you're still striving to complete that you have on your bucket list as a musician?
Being able to get through the transitions a lot more smoothly. Like as far like even this past gig, because it was a rig that I wasn't used to, so I was trying to have to learn how to get around on that keyboard and set everything up. But then the day of, it was like chaos, and so I wasn't quite as on point with transitions from different songs and different sounds.
You're saying so transitions from the sounds of your keyboard?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
transitioning from. Is that why they have different keys sometimes so that they?
Yeah, that's why a lot of guys, because they don't have to do all that. Yeah,
They
and
just
then
switch
they
up.
have like 4 or 5 different keyboards with different sounds for the different songs. Then you just reach up and play.
You just reach up and play that one.
Yeah, obviously for us, we have it. I only had the one keyboard, and I was using my computer to do that because I sold my other keyboard that I had during COVID because I didn't think I was going to be playing for a while. So,
Are you going to be acquiring a new one? Or are you going to stick with your MIDI?
I want actually to use both. The MIDI one, like, because I was able to do more flashier stuff, like the Hammond organ sound that I was playing on the MIDI controller. I really liked it because of how it sounded a lot like a real one. You know, obviously I've never played a real one before, but my thinking of how I hear it on songs, it sounded a lot like what I hear on music and what people perform live. So I like that. The keyboard, all the keyboards they've had decent organs, but nothing that did quite like what that one did.
Gotcha. So that was a great sampler.
Yeah, that organ sound from that VST instrument. Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it. As far as accomplishing stuff, maybe since we've started this thing up as a whole, it's kind of gone in a whole different direction. So I think just trying to keep stay open-minded and kind of take everything in as it comes, and not limit myself to a narrower way of thinking, but be able to kind of take everything in and kind of roll with the punches. Because I think I've accomplished a lot of things. Obviously we're not famous or rich or anything like that, but as far as being able to be blessed with the talent to do things that I've liked, I think I'm blessed that way.
I would agree. Yeah, there's a very small percentage that can be successful like this. I think the bigger percentage are those that are continually playing. You know what I mean? They're playing active, but that in itself means a lot of traveling and a lot of other stuff that it depends on what you want to do at this point.
Yeah. Well, back when we stopped playing, obviously we had younger families. Yeah. And also our parents their health wasn't the best at that point. So, we had to kind of put the music stuff on the back burner for a while.
Yeah, well, it's I think it's meant for us to have a discussion and a conversation about, all the things that that brought you to this point. Yep. So that's cool. That is cool.